All right. In the prior video, I told you we'd be looking at the two numbers we need to look at for profitability. I lied. We're actually be talking about time frame first because we have to remember that ads are not instantly successful, and there's a path to success that ads follow. I call this the 357 rule. These are going to be our three checkpoints that we do initially on an ad to make sure that it's working well. Now, it's worth noting that the numbers that we look at are slightly different for KU and wide. And again, they'd be different for direct sales, but that's kind of outside the scope of what we're doing in this particular video. So we're just going to be talking about what the numbers look like for those. So previously, we talked about how within 24 hours, you should be looking at the ad on the Facebook side, but don't go looking at it in attribution because there's going to be nothing. Attribution is delayed entirely by a day. There's never any data for current day. So if your ad fired up, you know, um, yesterday at 4 o'clock, it might show some clicks for yesterday, but today there's gonna be nothing. And certainly you're not gonna have any reads or sales won't come through yet. Keep in mind that in the KU system, someone will borrow a book, but then they have to actually get around to reading it and then read a significant number of pages. And then those pages need to upload it to Amazon. Amazon needs to process them and put them into the reporting system. That processing part on the Amazon side can oftentimes take 3 days. And we all know that, like, sure, your book may be amazing, but people don't one click it, stop what they're reading in their TBR right now, and read your book. Most of the time, you gotta wait a little bit. In fact, on average, it actually takes 30 days for most people to start reading a book that they borrowed. And interestingly, the attribution system only tracks for 14 days. So we're only getting a glimpse into what people are actually doing, but we're going to use that glimpse to sort of make some determinations and assessments, um, and sort of assume that all of our ads are, the Amazon factors and reader behaviors that affect one ad affect the other. So we can still compare them against each other, which is one of the best parts about the attribution system. So on day 3, we're going to fire up Amazon attribution and we're going to look for proof of life. We just want to make sure that we're getting like roughly the same number of clicks that Facebook shows. By the way, they never agree. So usually kind of want to be within like 20%. So if Facebook says it said 50 clicks in a day, you probably want to have Amazon say that you got somewhere between like 40 and 60 or 70 or something like that. Like, we just want to make sure the clicks are coming in, and that maybe on day 3 we start to see a few reads trickling in, and if we're doing a wide book, a couple of sales. Now, I'm going to pause here and just kind of show you guys what these graphs look like. This is the attribution system in Amazon. You go to AMS to find it, even though these aren't AMS ads. That's still where the Amazon reporting for them will be. And it's under measurement reporting and then Amazon attribution. In here, the purple line is the clicks and the blue line is the reads. The clicks will be fairly steady, as you can see. Reads tend to be a little bit spikier. And sometimes they might flatten out, which is not good. If you're watching your ads all the time and you see an ad kind of flatline like this, you should be like, crap, I need to do something with the ad. But part of me running ads is to show you the good and the bad. So sometimes I have to like leave the bad in there for example purposes. But what we're really looking for is, imagine this ad started like on November 7th. We might see a few days of no reads at all, and then we should see some reads start to come in. Now, this is actually a pretty decent number of reads. Usually you'll only see like maybe um, like a couple hundred paper reads, maybe even only 50 by day 3, because the data is still trickling in, it's still kind of building up. And these reads here that I'm seeing here right now could be from someone who borrowed the book a week ago. We don't really have a strong correlation. We're just kind of looking for overall trends. So, like, again, day 3, we should see a few reads coming in. If you're doing sales ads, you want to turn off the reads and turn on the purchases, and you should see a few purchases. Obviously, sales ads get more purchases than KU books, so you might see seeing 1 or 2 is sort of the baseline, not like a high level like it would be for a KU book. All right. Next up, day 5. On day 5, we should see the trend line on average going up, right? Like, it shouldn't just be one spike on day 3 and then flatlining again. We should hopefully see increasing numbers. Maybe day 4 is a bit lower, but day 5 is a bunch higher. Maybe both day 4 and day 5 are just sort of like maybe a little bit below day 3, but from a 0 to 5, that trend line's still going up. So that's what, and by this point, Facebook has likely settled in on who it's showing the ad to. Day 3, Facebook was still kind of learning who to show the ad to. Day 5 is kind of like, okay, I know who I'm showing this ad to. I'm going to show it to them some more. So we're still not looking for profitability here. Like I said, the day 3, zero expectation of profitability. Day 5, still no expectation of profitability, but we should be seeing a road to profitability start to emerge. Day 7, we should be approaching profitability.